forthcoming president, Chief Justice,
Maraga
declared he's going to run for presidency.
Yes.
Just because Maraga have fit the Kenyan politician stereotype.
There is the Tibi Mtialala type of politician.
Yes,
and then there is Kibaki who just like Mavia, Kuku, wewe. That's how Haiti got itself where it is. The government started using goons, civilian goons, who grew into whatever monster that even the Kenyan police had to be sent to deal with.
If Israel-Iran conflict keep going, it might trigger World War III.
Bad things start happening to your people. You unasikia antu wako sijui alikuwa anapanda mti pale akaanguka kavunjika shingo. You know, like just some nasty things start happening to you.
It's important to understand what's going on. And if you can, it's important for you to contribute and to kind of shift the politics
and the narrative,
and the narrative that is happening.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Time Lapse, and we are happy to bring an amazing conversation where we get to talk about the previous conversations that we had. And you know, I'm only doing that with my director and co-host with the most, Mr. Krox.
Yes, sir.
John Agadi.
There you go. For once, just stay at Krox, man. Government name.
They gotta know. Lazima wajue hizi majina zako kamili.
Fine. Thank you so much.
Welcome back again. Mine has been a minute. It's been what?
It's been like a month. It's been a month ever since I was here.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've been on the periphery.
Yes.
And I've also been riding along with the wave, so I'm excited. Yeah,
it's been one hell of a roller coaster since you sat on that
since
chair.
I sat, four guests.
Yes,
I was doing a little
4 guests later.
4 guests later.
Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like my pretty boy face? I'm a man. But I'm excited to be back. Thank you so much.
All right. So, what's been happening with you, man?
With me?
Yes.
No, I mean, we're starting with like a...
Okay, let's see. I mean, this is the third time we're doing this. I think by now
I
kind of know how we go.
No, I mean, I thought we were going to start like what's been your highlight and then really get into it. But I've been good.
Yes.
I've been pretty good. Things have been good. Life has been amazing. I've just been fathering and...
The usual.
The usual.
All right.
Mostly the usual. Nothing much happened. I thought we might talk about Father's Day after your Father's Day thing.
It's going to come up as one of my highlights.
Yeah.
So you can say, I mean, how it was going on in your world, and if you want to go direct into what's been popping and crack-a-lacking in your world, then sure, go ahead.
Okay, fine. So personally for me, maybe Father's Day ilikuwa too recently.
Yes.
And I was excited to share. So Father's Day I never actually shared with my real dad.
Okay.
It was my kids who shared that day with me.
Okay.
So we were just at home. Actually, we did a lot of chores.
Yeah.
And then later on, we had like a nice meal together.
Badala celebrate child labor.
No, not child labor. Man, I was participating in the labor. And so that was good.
Labor.
Kind of thing. I was kind of trying, and what I felt was like in this Father's Day, I'm showing my kids that it's good for men to work at home.
Okay.
Type thing.
I see you, homie. I see you.
Yeah, so something like that. But then the next day, I had a lunch with my dad and my brother.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that was nice.
Yeah.
And we just talked life. We talked next steps and just, those emotional, good vibes.
Yeah.
So that was Father's Day. On the lowdown, what's been happening in this world, it's hapo nilikuwa hata kuanzia, then we had to switch back to personal stuff, what's been happening in my life.
What's been happening in your world?
What's the highlight that I probably wanted to bring today is ilikuwa highlights za politics.
Yes.
And
can you preface, itemize them?
Okay, let me itemize.
Nione what is overlapping with mine. Because we've not talked about this.
We've not talked about anything.
Yes, I'm sure it's going to overlap.
I want
with
to
some
start
of mine.
by my mom gave me advice yesterday.
That's part of your...
Yeah.
Okay.
She
so
actually,
this is like number one?
Yeah, this is like the pre number one in case anything happens. So she was like, man, I see you guys mnafanya something hapo, just be careful.
Okay.
Musipote. So it's this whole abduction thing that is going on.
Yes.
And I had wanted to start from there because...
So you're saying the Time Lapse podcast got to your mom?
Yeah, it got to my mom.
Yes.
It got to my mom. She's on TikTok, man.
Okay.
Kwanza, she's been seeing more of your face.
Uh-huh.
And so she also wanted me to tell you to be careful.
Yes.
That we can talk about anything except politics. I love it's weird that we're starting a politics.
Yes.
But yeah, it was kind of an advice. And then also my dad was listening in. Akasema, yeah, it's true, by the way. Stay clear from politics. Kenya sai.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand where
one.
they're coming from with all of that.
And that is the story that I wanted to start from.
Yeah, and thanks for their concern.
Yeah.
And for me getting into people's homes now.
Yeah.
Whoop.
I want to celebrate the wrong thing. Like,
Bana, we can't be afraid, Bana.
Right?
Yeah, we can't be afraid, but keep going.
Yeah, so I had wanted to talk about politics.
Yes.
And the first thing I wanted to say is I feel like, I might think, is that maybe for the first time must have been last year.
Yes.
I'm really finally, as a man, putting my head around what politics means.
Yes.
And why it's important to be politically conscious.
Uh-huh.
Now, I feel like growing up, nilikuwa so removed from politics. And I did not think ni important.
You were nonchalant about it.
Yeah, ni just hizo vitu za
Raila na Kalonzo.
Na Kalonzo na Baba. And I hadn't really known that it can be such an important thing that people need to be aware of and add their voice in the conversation. Mm-hmm. And also, I thought it's important nianze na hiyo part.
Yes.
Because if we don't start from that part, then inakuwa too easy for every other young person kukuwa nonchalant na this politics thing. Yeah. And it's important for people to understand we are here as a nation, as a people.
Yes.
We are triggered the way we are triggered because of the politics of the day.
Yes.
And so I'm just finally wrapping my head around it's important to understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And if you can, it's important for you to contribute and to kind of shift the politics
and the narrative,
and the narrative that is happening.
Yes.
And so in politics, that I wanted to talk about, that I know this one won't get me abducted, is Maraga running for president.
Okay.
And so that's my first thing. I know maybe we'll go for it as an abductions. But I really wanted to start na Maraga running for president. It's
he finally declared, eh?
Yeah, finally declared. Niko na 4 things. Let me just say them.
Yes.
Maraga. Then I wanted to the highlight thing that tumekuwa tukiongea with some of my people in the protests, killing Albert Ojwang and
Maraga. Go to Maraga. I want to hear what you want.
No, you wanted me to itemize whatever I have so that you can.
Okay.
It's on your list.
Sorry.
So it's just 4 things.
Okay.
It's Maraga, his protests. It's shooting of Ben, wandering the strategy county goons, and finally Israel, Iran. 4 things, yeah. 4 things. I love after that, just review and the other episodes, what I maybe learned from the 4 guests.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There's actually one overlapping in mine because mine is like just police brutality.
Okay.
Yes. So which kind of counterlaces with, like the whole protest thing. Yeah. They are like one and the same thing.
So let me start with Maraga.
All right.
I've seen online forthcoming president, Maraga, Chief Justice.
Yes.
Maraga declared he's going to run for presidency.
Yes.
And it's been a very interesting declaration because I think finally for me, nimepata somebody that I think I might actually campaign for. Support.
Yes.
Type thing. But I've seen a lot of people online walikuwa so mad at this concept here, somebody called Maraga, just because Maraga have fit the Kenyan politician stereotype.
Yes.
And so I'm really curious if tunaweza waste this vote, because when I was younger kulikuwa na some professor, I don't know, it was called Olekiapi or something.
I remember Olekiapi.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like a professor, so progressive.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was very progressive, and a lot of people who had learned and teachers, and I remember talking to a lot of teachers, high school principals. I must have been either just out of high school or high school.
Yes.
Walikuwa wanasema Kiapi, but he was never voted for because I could fit the Kenyan politician stereotype. Yes. And so I was just also concerned and had wanted to highlight your thought. And maybe, nikurushie nione what you have to say. Do you think, even if I...
Yes.
take the loudest loudspeaker and scream Maraga, do you think he can appeal to Kenyans?
Well, that's the big cue.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the big cue. What I think though is, We've had Ole Kiapi. Who else did we have?
That was very progressive.
Not necessarily, just like out of the box. There's this evangelist.
There was that pastor guy from
there's been a bunch of pastors who've wanted to run for president. At this previous election, there was who? This is a bunch
I forget. I remember the guy.
Apart from the banky guy,
I remember the other guy. The guy who went to, and alipata some votes. Huh?
Yes, because he kind of like pandered towards that narrative of like rabble rousing and just like creating a troublesome narrative that you could run with, like the whole marijuana thing. Ilimsaidia sana ku create a base of sorts. No, maordinari walikuwa na feel like ndio msewetu. But the intellectual type, the people who are like in command of their faculties. I think the closest we've had that type of leadership was around Kibaki.
Okay.
Who was like more of like I'm an economist. I am dull. I am boring. But I get the job done.
But so let me first admit that seen a lot of
context
good points in a context because like I said, nilikuwa very nonchalant, sikuwa na participate actively in politics.
Yes, but ask away.
Yeah, but if I just opine.
Yes.
Kibaki alikuwa surrounded with so many politicians. He must have been like
but you see, he was, of course, it's politics and you have to politic. So Kibaki was surrounded by politicians. But he himself, he was a classic politician, by the way. Like a total class, but not the how do I put this? There is the Tibi Mtialala type of politician, then there is Kibaki who just like Mavia kuku wewe. You think you're suddenly clever?
Like, it's a Tibi Mtialala.
No, but in his own like very. It is like that's him addressing now corruption, like wewe sasa wende unajua kila kitu kushinda kila mtu, like it wasn't like he's on top of cars, so much exuberance, nothing like that. There was very little razzmatazz with this guy. Kwanza, in fact, when he was coming on board in 2000, was it 2 or 3? Jamal alikuwa amepata accident, we were swearing him mguu kama iko kwa nini, like he was in, there was no glamour surrounding this gentleman at all. So to answer you, yes, we are ready for this kind of leadership.
Kind of politics.
It has been imekuwa coalesce, imekuwa ikisonga mbele. There's been progression in this conversation. And the fact that right now the biggest base is no longer the tribes.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a very defining factor. The biggest political base right now, the people who are going to elect the next president is not the Luyas, is not the Bukusus, is not the Lauluos, not Kikuyus, not Marima.
No. I think your card or your drum or whatever your string itakuwa pulled by the political class.
It will, but it will not work. You see, they might have scared the young people from going to the streets. And they went en masse. Wangeacha kuwaua watu ama kufanya sijui vitu zikuwe complicated pale. The entire young people, it was a countrywide vote against the finance bill and a vote against the presidency of William Ruto. From the young people, So I am assuring you that is the biggest block right now. Utaona kila mtu akidance TikTok to make sure that they pander towards the young people.
I'm very curious. You are right.
And the young people silently see at hawajui with the advice of the millennials and some of the older people in their life. They're just gonna be like, Maraga is the guy. And if Maraga is the guy, he is the guy.
Okay.
So there is you don't need to shout so much. I'm
very curious how it's going to play out. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic. I'm really curious. Me, before we go on, I'm supporting that move. Just because I've been actually waiting to support that kind of politics. I'm really curious how your leadership in Inza look like.
Me too. It's a high time we give that type of governance a chance. And we see how it actually looks like. I am a fan of Maraga because of the having the nerve to append an election. You guy, hats off to that nigga, man. He's one hell of balls of steel.
Adi Uhuru told him we will revisit.
Yes, we'll revisit. To have the nerve to pull such a thing off, man, we seem so akawa. To that effect, pia mimi, if he goes and sees it through, if he manages to talk into supporting him, because I know it's not going to be easy, these are the guy. Matiang'i. Matiang'i, because now they come from the same region, and it's still in as much as we have the whole young people equation in play, you have also to play the tribal cards. Because
I was talking to someone yesterday, an older gentleman, and I posited whatever I just talked to. I was like, I really like Maraga. Can I no me like the other Kisii gentleman? Can I who? Can I Matiang'i?
Yes.
And so his thesis was Matiang'i can already play like with the monkeys.
Yes.
And can play like the monkeys.
And he has that strong man vibe.
Yes. And so what if him and Matiang'i came together, and then because Omtata and Maraga feel very kind of activist.
Yes.
And just on the fringe, like, you guys, who cares about you guys? You just, But if he paired maybe na Matiang'i, it could be like a thing that could...
But pair how? They can be president, deputy, because you see they come from the same region, which will be problematic. To
the Kenyan...
No, the optics, bro.
Tunarudi kwa tribe.
Oh yes, you have to play the game. That's the game that is set before you. You have to align tribe in a tribal way, and you have to align with the times. Which are that the younger people, and you have to incorporate a lot more younger people in your campaign,
right?
And in your government to be.
Interesting. I'm so curious. But it's inevitable. Unaona penye Kenya imefika right now, with levels that are maybe even just not even education, just the levels of literacy, the kind of understanding that people have, the penetration of information.
Yes,
it has to happen like that. We need someone who can appease to just calm us. We know too much for you to not calm our nerves.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Let's see how that unveils, how that plays out.
Yeah, it's 2 years in the making.
All right. Next, what's up on your...
So next, now that Maraga, I thought I would talk so much about it.
Yes. If you have something
notes,
remaining,
I'm like, it's new hope. A new hope? Question mark. I thought I'd really say things about your new hope.
Yeah.
But then maybe the other thing, a protest too. This week, to me noticed, we witnessed the shooting of Ben Kariuki. Is it Kariuki? Yeah. Boni Kariuki. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was very sad. It was very sad to witness. And then just to see the news here, someone being shot, that was so sad to notice. And then other stories of police brutality happening around the country, that was so sad to see. One of the thoughts that immediately came to me, what? Kenyans, we are so scared. Finally. And I don't know how many tactic. Maybe it is. But it's working.
Are we scared though?
No, we are. Yeah, bro. See, tuna podcast up away, but
compare us to even our neighbors. They're in how ballsy fucking balls of we have on us.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the other places. There's wakiambiwa hata whatever happens hata watokangi like Nigeria paka hata kuna nini it's just really messed up but here we have balls, man. You would expect that even after someone has been even after someone has been I don't know done to what when Alberto Jang was just like strangled and just like killed evil too. You'd expect that now people will be like, hey man, this government is not playing. People showed up. Someone was shot. Guys were still on the streets. That is an indomitable spirit, man. I'm looking at it from that perspective. And even on the 25th, guys
I don't think so. I don't think the turnout is going to be... Yes, the
turnout will not be like... As I said earlier over the Maraga's conversation, they scared people off the streets. But advocacy is still happening.
Right, And that's the thing. That's the maybe... Okay, it's a pivot. But it's a hope for me.
Yes.
You see, man, you know that story of the kid when alikuwa anaambiwa the teacher, it's kind of like a Chinese kind of fable. Confucius.
Yes.
That stand up. This boy was being told stand up by the teacher. And then he finally stood up and then he told the teacher, but inside I'm still sitting. So it's like you can make me stand all you want, but inside I'm still sitting.
Yes.
So it's a type of rebellion.
Yes.
And like kujani change really. You may follow rules, but I've not actually changed.
That's powerful. I like it.
It's what I'm sensing.
Yes.
In this schools, your work.
Yeah. the only theatric this government is actually left with is actually to just finish the term. Wanasema malizeni muende. That is actually the only theatric that is remaining. Truthfully, by the way. Other than that, the other best case scenario would be to actually deliver. You see, we still man 2027 still nimbali kidogo.
Not really.
Yes, but man, they say a year in politics is a lot of time. So while in a fiscal imagination, like financial years, there's very little they can do. But there's also a lot that they can do to change some perceptions.
Maybe just perceptions.
Yes,
but not.
They might not be able to actualize anything in terms of performance. And economic shake-up and improving the life of the mwananchi, because that was supposed to be at inception, which they failed. But in general sense, in terms of optics, just creating an imagination that we are actually working and we're taking care of business, kind of thing, macro type of politics, optics, they can do something. And it could actually play into their asking for a second second term.
Maybe, but it's highly unlikely. It's just a big maybe. Unajua tuna cut some slack to tukisema they might, but it's a big maybe.
And that's speaking in that is speaking in like in how do you say this? In theory, this is all in theory, man. It's not
but
like
in theory, so in theory, how would they course correct? How would they
course correcting for this current government is a painful endeavor. They have put themselves in such a very terrible corner. I liked when Mr. Ruto, the president, was campaigning, and you're saying like when you dug yourself in a hole, you should stop digging. That was in reference to us borrowing so much. So unfortunately, aliingia kwa shimo akasema sasa nipeni hiyo nini jembe yenye najlima zaidi kuliko hata yenye tulikuwa tunatumia. So now he's actually dug himself in even a deeper hole than the previous regime. He has angered almost literally hata watu wenye hawakuwa angered.
Politically conscious. We could have just continued being inactive citizens.
But now he's angered literally every amekosana na kanisa yenye ilimpropel into government. Everyone, hata wazee, everyone is mad. The young people who are nonchalant about politics now are politically savvy and active, and now they're now ndo watahesabu hizo kura, now ndo watagadi hizo kura. So it's a tricky position he's bound himself into, and as you're saying, course correcting is a difficult thing, but can you manage? I mean, I'm just trying to think if I was in his court.
I'm wondering why you are thinking like that. Okay, granted, unaweza fikiria how you want, but then I just feel like you're such a government apologist.
If it was me in his space, I would spin things a little bit differently in terms of just managing. You're gonna hit a wall, but you can parachute out of the building, out of the a plane or something, like.
But I feel like it's impossible for him, because you know how Kagashago alikuwa anamwenjoy. It's like any misfortune in a mwandama, So he's trying to stay away from drama. I mean, he didn't anticipate this shooting to occur.
He set himself up for failure from the very beginning.
So misfortune too.
Hazimwandami alizitafuta mwenyewe by the people he's brought on board to form government with. Wote ni watu hakuna mtu anajua cha anafanya. Like everyone is just blundering away, and all that the buck stops with him, so it's him fucking up. So really terrible situation he's put himself into.
Amazing. So the next thing would be so that was about the shooting of Boni. Then county goons. It was sad kuona hiyo occurrence happening in Nairobi. I remember in Gen Z thing hapa Bungoma they also had goons. And so
Bungoma walideal na goons.
Deal na goons. So this is the unfortunate learning that people are learning about. Is like our goons pia is a deal to now. See police by the way, we can lynch them, we can call them thugs. If we're able to
thugs actually.
If we're able to isolate them. So the problem could be if on the next kind of protests they are unable to isolate who goons are.
They have to isolate what isolate you, because the goons, you see the policemen have uniforms. Now goons have to also identify themselves.
Yeah.
Either na hizo mipini zao
Yeah.
ama by dressing in a certain way to identify themselves
so that
as
even like the goons can know who is a goon.
Who is a goon.
Yeah.
Justandike nini. So they have to identify themselves.
Yeah. And what will happen is quite tricky because I think the mwananchi, the populace, the people, civilian,
yes.
They will deal with them proper, man.
It's just unfortunate that that's where we are as a republic, huh?
Yeah.
Because I saw someone opine on X that that's how Haiti got itself where it is.
The
government started using goons, civilian goons, who grew into whatever monster that even the Kenyan police had to be sent to deal with.
Yes, it's the same thing. North Sudan, the R something. F.
Yes.
It's like a paramilitary that the government needed.
Yes.
You're like, you're not really military, but you're trained.
Yes.
So we can use you, and then finally wanakuwa way too powerful.
Yes.
In this case, they may not be way too powerful, but it's a problem that...
it's going to become a problem. It's going to be a problem.
I also saw on X when you made a lot of political opinions. So you see, this goons thing brings a lot of memories, especially for watu wa Nairobi na Central, ya Mungiki.
Yes.
And when the government now, they were unable to manage the people, they had kind of to waamshe this kind of sect or group of people that were only, they pledge allegiance maybe to whoever, like their leader and their code of whatever.
Yes.
Alafu awase hawadeal sasa na the populace.
Yes.
And he was saying, or whoever this person on X was saying, this is a very bad thing kuamsha in Kenya.
Yeah.
We shouldn't amusha goons, we shouldn't amusha Mungiki, we shouldn't amusha anything in Yaiko within the constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's chilling times ahead, man. Like the whole goons thing, I hear Sakaja is being blamed a lot for it.
Yeah.
And man, he's a guy, Mazai. If I was in Nairobi, I would have easily voted for, man.
Yeah.
I'm just like so disappointed in myself as a voter, man. Because when Nairobi I work, I actually really do not like going to Nairobi because it's really bad. It's so bad. He's done jack shit.
Is this politics?
Niggas done jack shit to improve anything in that place.
Yeah.
The town is even worse. I used to listen to him campaign a lot, and he used to come a lot to Capital FM, which I listened to a lot.
Yeah.
And he would promise utopia of Nairobi, man.
Yeah.
We need to transform this grand city of the sun. He would say a lot of things, and just like looking at the execution of those promises, and I'm like, brother, you're a young person, unachomea young people.
Do you think kuna an example of a politician mwenye amesema na kutenda? Apart from, so I know in theory we know, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off before you answer, but I just wanted kusema that people say, Asian Tigers, whoever, they choose someone, this like revolutionary leader who really changed Thailand.
Yes.
But I asked that Singapore, I'm sorry, but I asked that question just to kind of try and get the sense that maybe politics ni hivyo too. You promise but you'll never deliver.
Nah, man. Yes, politicking involves making promises, you know. So sometimes these promises, you make them in this frame of mind, and then when you get there, you realize there are very different realities realities in execution. Unapata hata hiyo pesa, maybe kuna, unless you have the nerve to actually upend whatever nonsense that surrounds the system that surrounds the kitchen cabinet that surrounds the bureaucracy flani, you're not gonna do shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's everywhere in the world. For any leader to come up and change the way things operate, they have to be willing to suspend the system.
Yeah, and probably maybe they also need to know how the system looks like.
Yes. Yeah. I guess that's the reason why people are entertaining the idea of a Matiang'i presidency, because they feel like he's going to be a strong man who's going to do this, but I am not so enthused because he is part of the problems we'll be fighting again.
Yes. Ni corruption plan iko.
Yes.
I once read an article, it was like kind of like a bureaucratic capture of sorts.
Yes.
This individual is a journalist. He obo someone on Twitter, on X.
Yes.
He wrote an article on The Nation. Alafu alikuwa anasema kind of it's a bureaucratic capture means that politicians come and go. Hizo ma 5 years. But they are civil servants when you're hapo for SB 25.
Institution, yes.
They know the kind of tenders that we don't touch.
Yes.
Like we won't touch hizo roads, we won't touch hizo flashy projects. But man, public toilets, that's one is ours. Sijui tissues.
Inaitongaje hizi ya kokota takataka hiyo.
Garbage collection, yes. You don't touch those ones. You're kind of like the bureaucracy that exists up
hivyo. Yes.
And in this article, I found it so refreshing and so eye-opening. It was like these politicians can't change much. Yes. Because much of this has already been grabbed by this kind of systematized bureaucracy.
Yes.
In this thing. I found that to be enlightening, but also at the same time, I genuinely empower and I feel too powerless to that information.
Yeah.
It's like, again.
Yes, that is a reality that I don't know. I don't have any quick rebuttals against, because that's real.
You think it's real?
Yes, it's real and across the world, not just in Kenya. So for you actually have kind of to run away from democracy sometimes to actually like deal with that type of stuff.
So tunaenda na conversations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's a reality that it's a failure that I think whoever designed democracy did not anticipate. Yes.
Did not anticipate this concept here. The democracy is only happening kwa leadership, but people who are working up on a long-term tenure almost their entire lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably hata pia wangekuwa napigwa tu macontract wakisonganga tu maximum 10 years wejipe shughuli tafutendo excel kwa private sectors as or something. Uko umementa something. Yes.
But it could have also again ngekuwa it's a good thought experiment, but
because I don't think someone can stick at a place 20 years without finding ways of sabotaging the way things operate there. There's a necessary familiarity happening there.
Yes. I wanted to come to Bungoma County, but so let's proceed.
Do not be afraid.
I'm afraid, man.
Brother man. Utaki kwanza kuogopa kwa iko sawa. Sikia mambo ya mama ni muhimu.
But maybe one day if I have proper influence I might inject.
You have influence as it is.
I thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Because that's a statement I believe that everyone has influence.
Yes.
But I would say I feel powerless with the influence that I have based on what I know.
Don't feel powerless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
Itakuwa about the thing. And then the last one is Israel and Iran.
Yes.
But I wanted to highlight when naandika kuuzia uoga, and then I put a star. And this is the biggest fear in having an opinion. Just kind of to wrap up that thought is I really don't like that thing ya kuuziwa uoga. And I would just encourage anyone who has a voice to speak up.
Yes.
And because your voice amplifies and it keeps amplifying and it gives other people kind of a confidence to speak up whenever atrocities happen. We were taught in church that bad things only happen if good people stay silent.
Yes, for sure.
And so it always sometimes in a feel so strange that we know that as a truth, but we still stay silent.
Yep.
Yeah. So because we're not tatuziwa uoga. Yeah.
Ukiuziwa uoga na ununue inakuwa ni hivyo sasa.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But sikubali kuuziwa uoga.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid. Call out the ills for when you see them.
Right.
Hata kama utapata 2 likes, 3 likes. Hizo 3 likes zinaweza kuwa ya mtu mwenye ako na 1 million followers. Because we all have that like 6 degrees of separation. There is always that one big fish. Hata anaweza kosa kucredit hizo the original thinking, but anaweza chukua your thought process na ende I claim kama yake na ume amplify consciousness ya society.
Right. Yes. Kama yeye yetu ya bureaucratic capture.
Yeah.
Now it's
you never know out of our 300-400 viewers, actually 500 subscribers, because we've crossed that.
Okay.
So, so you never know out of the 500 people who among them is actually big enough to actually amplify the imaginations of these 2 gentlemen talking before us right now. Yeah.
So before I go to Israel, Iran, I would probably really like to hear what was going on in your week.
Yeah. Just finish. Yako sawa. I've already given my 2 cents on one of, I can actually cross off one of my
don't do that.
Fala,
don't do that.
I've already given my 2 cents.
Now you have to redo it.
Okay, but you finish your thing.
Okay, so Israel, Iran, was the thing and was also my highlight this week.
I'm really curious.
About my opinion?
Yes.
What are you saying? I'm like a Zionist, like okay, just attack, I'll defend.
I'm
coming
not
from a what?
Shit.
Yeah.
Just saying, coming from your Christian background, you know how...
Okay, we are so pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel with their killing us nonsense.
Man, slow down with the curse words. This part my mom will see. Good.
Shida yako bwana.
Okay. Back to, so again, interesting because the stereotype fits.
Yes.
Is that I think my whole thing with Israel, I'm supporting Israel, has always come from that Christian background.
Oh, so you do support Israel?
I have been supporting. I mean, I kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of do right now. Although this week, nimejipata in a little bit of a dilemma.
Yes.
It's like,
Just this week?
Just this week, I'll be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, you can judge me all you want, guys, during the Palestine conflict.
Please. I'm really restraining myself.
Yes, so only this week I find myself in a little bit of a dilemma.
Yes. Why? You saw a little baby being blasted away?
No, I did not. I do not support war for the sake of war. Okay. At least in the Palestine border thing, there's been historical thing and we kind of understand the spin, politics around it, and we could see that Hamas started it and then Israel was just responding and whatever. So like the narrative, you can defend it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now when it's just war in the world,
yes,
you start kind of asking, okay, it's not right.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I come from, my background.
Sure.
Yeah. But this week, my brother, kwanza endo may bring up this thing to my attention. I think my bro, Jay, is such a nerd wa war. Oh. Nah, no, not like that. I'm not trying to paint us like a bloodthirsty whatever. Check my head goes there.
So he's just funny how you say that.
So he likes as a gamer.
Okay.
As someone who grew up gaming.
Yes.
He knows. Not like such an defend. He knows about Apache, unajua hizo helicopter, hizo warheads, hizo kind of ammunition.
Yes.
He knows a little bit of
Which
stories.
Brother? James,
yeah.
Okay.
He knows a little bit of stories about warheads, nuclear warheads. Mm-hmm. He has some statistics and some stories on the war, the Cold War, the What War, which kind of vehicles ilikuwa. So it's always such a blast to talk to him. Yes. Because he knows so much and just fringe weird information about war things.
Yes.
So this week, he was telling me about the ballistic missiles. Hapo ndo tulianzia.
Okay.
And then so we were talking about these ballistic missiles that were sent to Israel.
That Iran deployed.
Yes. And I forget what he called them, but he was telling me about how there are such special ballistic missiles that they do not attack. They first go to space. Mm-hmm. And then zina change, kind of they re-navigate. Mm. And then they attack the country.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so we just kind of started talking about the progress military technology. Mm. The conversation really ended all around the place. Actually, the conversation ended up that if Israel-Iran conflict keep going, it might trigger World War III.
That's what everyone is touting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if it does trigger World War III, his big theory is that the battleground will be Africa. And he was saying, man, unajua Russia and China, they're already in Congo. They're giving all these kind of paramilitary and small military groups weapons. And so those guys don't want to fight in their lands. So we'll just find a way of bringing that war here. And then we'll probably have that war like in Central Africa. Just a theory. But we were saying, it shouldn't happen. We should not support vitu kama hizi zinaweza escalate into World War III. Escalate into like a nuclear warfare. And for him, he was telling me an interesting fact.
Yes.
Is that there are some types of kind of nuclear warheads or weaponry that, and Misao, I really wish I had remembered in the South, a type, there's a name. but that if, for instance, kama Russia gets hit by a nuclear level flani bomb, like kuna like a fail-safe, like an automatic launch that hits like 6 places at once.
Okay.
So Jay is telling me that Russia has this system that if they get nuked, there's this reactionary weapon they have that it just nukes like China, USA, something in Africa at once. So, and other countries that have nuclear warheads, wakuna kind of that thing in place. So like, we find anyone who nukes us, it doesn't have to be USA. But if you nuke us, our thing will just nuke everyone else. So it kind of keeps them kwa tebo waongee, so that they don't release any kind of nuclear thing. And the story ilianza Jack niambia, I also went to on YouTube and I watched about how the Israel-Iran thing, especially last week, was about nuclear.
Okay.
And Israel just not supporting Iran making progress on nuclear weaponry. What a mouthful. That's what I had to say.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, kama uko na any kind of opinions ama differing views.
Man.
I feel like umenyamaza sana.
No. You know, your story you cuts here too, because this whole fight, the Gaza Strip, people just niggas bickering. Okay, they're not niggas, but just gentlemen fighting over a piece of real estate. Kitu nanikasirishanga sana. Like, just can't you all just like have a conversation?
Get along,
man? Yes, no, just have a conversation, you know, like talk. Like, nyinyi tembeleeni huko inside ni yetu, porous borders, digital borders or something. Like, just, can't we have a conversation? Must you kill babies?
Yeah.
I know I'm being very simplistic in my imagination, but sometimes it takes the whimsical imagination of a kid that turns around the entire world, man.
Yeah.
And I just... it's a conversation that really pisses me off. Okay. And then some of it gets back to like some biblical promises that were made, and just really get angry, man. Story that kasrisha zaidi sana. It's just like, the good Lord promised us this land, but he promised you and there were people living there, you know?
Yeah, but it's in the Bible, so yeah.
Yeah, I was having a good chat with ChatGPT, and we were even thinking of how we could even end these like, you know, like in my conversations, like I research in a very funny conversational way with the AI chatbots. So, and we were just like thinking of ways of ending the war, me and ChatGPT now, like, you know, like how would we do it?
Yeah.
And I quipped in a very cheeky Joel Flash type of way that, you know, just like make Netanyahu marry a Palestinian woman or something, or an Iranian girl as a second wife or a third wife, because now you cannot nuke your in-laws, you know. You know, it's just, and even ChatGPT found that really funny, you know, like, it's a weird way to do it, but man, this whole thing of saying the good Lord promised you, it's a bit... I don't know if that's what is still fueling the beef. I think even to date.
The beef inafueliwa na hiyo historical injustice, and also historical injustice spiles.
Yes.
Because inakuwa na bile, unaona.
Yes.
Like we will never we must avenge our children. Yes. And so that inakuwa too bad blood.
But at this point, I don't think too much death has happened. And I think the only thing that is making this war still go on, I feel, is this holier than thou platform when Israel na stand on, and the fact that it does not lose as much it does not go through as much pain as it inflicts. That's my takeaway from this whole thing. Unaona, they have sobered up kidogo when a bunch of missiles actually penetrated the Iron Dome. They're like, okay, hao jamaa si wasopoa. US, go wapi bana?
Wakaita mom.
Pigani hao jamaa, you know? Like, just because at least one landed, at least, or two, and the hospital there is wrecked, I was actually kind of sick, like, that's how it feels to bomb hospitals, niggas, assholes. Right now you're complaining.
Right.
Don't complain. That's how it feels to be bombed.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yes. I agree.
You poke around, you fuck around, you're gonna find it.
Right.
Exactly what you're looking for. So somehow someone in Iran was like, you want some?
Yeah.
You'll get some.
Yeah.
Tutatuma missiles kwa space. So,
but the theory, or whatever, the Israel still got an upper hand. because of powerful friends.
Yeah.
They probably have like a powerful military and military systems. They've been pouring money for years in the military thing. So I'm not saying we should take sides, but I'm just saying, hakuna real winners actually in the end.
No. There are no real winners. There's no winner. Even Israel, man, hata waki-win, they'll force the entire world to take nini. Right. They'll force the entire world to take sides. And now Russia is also warning mazewe kuna watu wetu wako huko nini, wako huko Iran. Ebu msifanye kitu mbaya, mstume muwaue. We have like 200 people working on those Iranian something. So that's like them just like in a very nice and diplomatic way telling Israel, no, don't fuck off, man. Fuck off. Don't do shit. Msifanye ujinga. Kitaumana hapa.
So nakwambia, so World War 3 could probably...
I hope not. But hey, man, let's just leave it at that.
Problems at home, problems nationally, problems globally.
Yes.
And then we're here.
Yes. So I'm happy that we get to comment about this, but man, you wachache tu hapa unless we make it a podcast episode of its own.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy to throw a lot of shade.
I don't know. I think you're right though, but you know, just I'm trying to get over the bias that I have with Israel. I'm a little bit different. I feel like I'm too biased with them. It's a work in progress.
Yes. Good going.
Unajua Mount Zion, man. The Lord is supposed to come, man, in Jerusalem. What are you saying?
Let us make it another podcast episode because you will have a mouthful, an earful from me. You would not like it.
It's a scripture, man. But yeah, sour.
So since I had 3 items, one international, one national, one gossip.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll start with the international. The fallout between my good friend. I have friends in high places. And one of my friends, entrepreneur extraordinaire, Mr. Elon Musk. Alifund bana GOP bana, tukaingia State House bana, tunacheza hata na president hapo bana, president ananua gari zetu bana, na showcase kwa White House lawn. It was nice scenes bana. I was enjoying being in government for once. Vicariously
a few moments later.
Vicariously through Elon, man. Hata sijamaliza kukaa kwa kiti ya White House bana, kidogo bana, the big beautiful bill inatokea huko.
Big beautiful bill. Trump's big beautiful bill.
Which of course mimi kama rafiki ya Elon Musk, I don't agree with. I don't mean me, I'm in the White House because of Elon Musk. If he says it's shit, pia mimi natoka. So man, Elon Musk was on some show bana, alingangana sana ku hold it together, but he let it and criticize.
Was it the first time? Is that where the crack actually?
Yes, okay. That was actually the first place alikrakia kwa some really nonsense show by then. Still of old people or something. Because alikuwa anafanya nini kwa hiyo show? They were talking about rockets or something. And he just like went off script. It was like, man, that bill sucks. That's the first place he actually criticized the big beautiful bill, and everything spiraled from there. And it was coming to me in real time because, man, I follow so closely any move Elon makes. Like, man, I'm such an insider in his world. And I saw the reaction. You see, they're both very unhinged characters. Two very strong personalities that were in some sort of alliance. And yes, I knew it wouldn't last long, but I just didn't imagine it would play out like this. I saw one of these these other shows like kama yenye Trevor Noah alikuanga, The Daily Show. I think there was one of the guys who was like, mazi imefika place paka Kanye West is like, guys, you need to calm down. like Kanye is actually calling for sobriety.
No, for real. No, it's like I didn't think that happened in American politics.
Kanye was on X saying, bana bro, bana, it shouldn't be going down like this. I saw the tweet and I was like, whoa, okay. Is this Kanye saying that his guys, this has gone too far? Kanye West, I mean, the most unhinged personality ever in the world, was saying this has gone too far. And I was just like looking at it and I was just wondering, man, is this like a future of mine of sorts? Because I'm also working towards building my wealth and also being like a really a really influential person in whatever region I end up being. Kama ni Bungoma, like just influencing the politics of the region one way or the other. Kama ni funding a candidate that I like or something, you know.
Yeah, that's what you get for meddling.
So is this my future? Like that's the one thought that I actually took away from that whole thing, because I kind of live vicariously through Elon Musk, and his achievements are my achievements, and I learn from them and I pick things from them. And I was just there like really having a moment of introspection. And I am really happy to all cool down, and I don't know how the future looks like, because they really need each other, man, like in some weird sense.
I don't think they need each other.
They kind of do.
You know, I realize I realized I don't fancy him so much.
Yes.
After he got in, then I just realized, I don't know. I think I liked Elon wa tech, making cool
unlike
things.
Elon wa politics, huh?
Yeah, unlike Elon wa politics.
Yes. But they don't need each other like some sort of political alliance where Gachagua has fallen out with Ruto, the president. No, it's more of like Elon requires someone. Tech needs very good politics to progress. Yeah, you know. So without
and also to be protected.
Yes. So without really good governance that kind of allocates or promotes tech, tech will take like some sort of dive for the like not progress. So that's a concern. It's actually the reason why the fight started, because some money had been hived away from space exploration and redirected elsewhere, and that was the bone of contention in that bill.
So it wasn't that I fought so hard with my Dodge thing to get you all this, to save you all these trillions, and
so he saved some ish, but now when he sets up this bill, some allocations are actually taken away from space exploration. So of course he gets mad.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like how he works the thing is Elon style. Just goes on X or on
it was the only thing for like a week.
Yes, it was
everywhere.
It was really strange. But the other takeaway was like, I love how this society of theirs is so forward, and guys, like you can be so big that you can talk smack about the president. And it's just like huyu jamaa ataongea tu mbaya, lakini atatulia tu. Watu wakikuja kwa maisha yangu wananitokanga na wanaongea tu mbaya, but yuko tu sawa, mimi wacha tu mimi lead Americans. And also the president just like he's a normal guy, and he's another big guy who is just like also a normal weird guy. And
what did you expect? Did you expect like heads to roll? Because that's what Vuzi expected on his Twitter.
Yeah, no, we are so exposed to a lot of trauma down here. You threaten the government like that, man. Bad things start happening to your people. You unasikia antu wako sijui alikuwa anapanda mti pale akaanguka kavunjika shingo. You know, like there's some nasty things start happening to you.
I saw that clip from Game of Thrones where like Cersei, is it Cersei, the woman, the mom queen, talks to Littlefinger, and then Littlefinger is like, money is power. And then Cersei, do you know the scene?
Yes, I know the scene.
The power is power scene.
Power is power, yes.
And they brought back that clip during the thing, just kind of trying to tell Elon Musk.
Yes, that power is actually constitutional power. Even locally, see, I liked how, that's why I'm saying we cannot afford to be cowed by we cannot afford to be afraid.
Yeah.
I liked how Sifuna the other day, someone in one of those senatorial oversight meetings, someone who some senator I really do not like from one of those Kalenjin, one of those Rift Valley senators, who was like, do you know Nani Farouk? That's like the peer to the president. You should not be his genie. And Sifuna was like, who that?
Yeah, he's not elected.
Does he have a constitutional office?
Yeah.
No. So I only recognize people with constitutional bearing. So yes, power is a really serious thing, man. Yeah. And whoever wields power
actually wields power.
Yeah. You can have money, but someone who has someone with constitutional authority is not someone to mess with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Elon Musk, and what really do you think about the politics Elon Musk? I had said seem like then, but what do you think about? Does he have an aim? Why is he meddling too much?
At this point, I'm not sure. I'm also just like,
because I actually thought I had him figured out.
No, you cannot figure out Elon Musk. You cannot figure out Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Even I, deep inside the man, no, you can't figure out. Every time he throws bombshells and you're like, whoa, okay, what the hell?
Yeah.
But him, I can tell you where he's coming from, though. For this, it was more of like a personal journey. He was just like getting back at the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Democrats, he was really just getting back at Democrats because of the woke mentality, the woke virus. You know how his son
is like transgender.
She turned transgender, and he actually mourns that as a death of his son. You know, so this journey of going against the woke mentality, woke culture, cancel culture for him was deeply personal.
Right, I agree.
And that's the reason why he even moved his knees to Texas, where it's more conservative, and just like funded a very, very
I thought I understood him.
Politician. And to that effect, yes. But then again, he's just the type of person that you mess with him, he's just like, man, shut it.
Yeah.
Hatuwezi endelea hivyo, unanibo. And you know, politics has a lot of like, you know, baby gloves, you know, like, you know, people just like not saying things, saying a lot of things to mean nothing.
Yeah.
That's politics. But Elon does not. He's too binary in his thinking. Told at it like it is.
Interesting.
That's it on that topic. But I wish him good things, man, still.
I wish him good things too. I wish Elon nothing but the best. I would love to see Tech Elon really come back center stage.
Yes, me too, man.
I really had wanted to see a lot of crypto things going on, a lot of AI things going on, but
it's good. It's good. It's for progression of our society. We need to see things, anomalies like this happening. They expand our consciousness in terms of like, whatever you do, don't meddle with politics. Meddle with politics as much as you can, because collectively, it's just like the same way we are having a lot of political talk here. Almost all our conversations tie back to politics here.
Some type of politics.
Yes. So it's coming to a realization that there is no sitting out on the political table.
Exactly.
For literally everyone. So it's at a really grand, advanced global stage, he's actually just furthering this conversation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what talk we're politically conscious.
Yes, right. And meddle and participate and give you 2 cents hata kanza upuzi, but give them nonetheless.
Yeah, because now people knew that you promised a small bill and a big beautiful bill.
Yes, and now that's like a global conversation. Now Trump is coming off like a you know, like what are you doing?
Speaking from both sides of his mouth.
Speaking from both sides of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. You're right. I like that takeaway.
Yes.
That.
All right. On the question of police brutality, there's no point of repeating, really. I just wanted to say something to the effect of, I think I didn't manage to like chime in when you were talking. It is just more of like, what is wrong with these chaps, man? I mean, the thing is, if you publish something I do not like, so I kill you.
Yeah, killing should not be the solution.
Sasa kila mtu akianza kuua kila mtu, sasa who will remain?
Na kila mtu akona opinions.
Kila mtu akona opinions. Let's just like go to court, you know, inatonga defamation, libel. Let us just like, the courts are there to arbitrate between disputes, interpersonal disputes between individuals and institutions and communities.
Right,
Let us use these institutions. Let us empower these institutions that we can also all trust them.
Yeah.
The moment we start
messing... I heard there's like an oversight of police.
That is just on paper, man. That's a paper tiger, man.
Yeah.
It does not really do shit.
Bite.
It does not do shit. So my takeaway on that, my 2 cents on that topic is that our communities will end.
Yeah.
Our society will actually debilitate and end if we start just like that, your mayhem. And you see, guys were even targeting the DIG's Lagat's son, who is at Strathmore, walikuwa amempata paka sasa.
Oh, serious?
Yes, walikuwa wameanza kumtumia text. So ikabidi paka go into hiding. See, the thing is, what the general populace is trying to communicate is, you kill someone, yours is also sport, fair game.
Yeah.
You see, paka this goon chief, who was very loud, threatening goons. I hear he's run away from Nairobi because now he's also every of his family member is now fair game.
Yeah, niliona hata he apologized generally on text.
Yes.
That I'm sorry, Kenyans.
He thought it's a game, but no, man, the level of awareness of the general public si ya kuanza kusema ati mutadu
Right,
you cannot dare people in their own silent protest ways. They'll reach out to you and they'll just like
na kuna wasiwezi opine hivi they will
take just action. Get into action. It just fuck you up. Tanzania wako laki walikuwa mbali. That's why walipata tu walisalimiwa tu kwa text peke yake.
There was that thing it happened, we couldn't make a comment on it, but they still catch trays paka leo.
They still catch trays paka leo. Alafu lastly on my I just tulikuwa shy discuss at length, so I'm moving away from it. So lastly Mulamwa versus Ruth K.
Okay.
The gossip one. That was just like yesterday but one. So
you're nasty. I feel so bad about that one.
I don't have much to talk about it. I just wish people exercised restraint, man. I don't know. I'm not sure if they are playing us. I actually hope they are playing us for clicks and views.
But what? Anyway.
I'm just saying. I hope that's the case. But if it is not... Man, that is some deplorable nonsense.
Hiyo ni nonsense. I think hata mijana nilikuwa naongea na the wife ali bring up that thing to me. Nikamwambia nimeona hizo highlights. Kwanza have you managed to watch those videos? Nikamwambia no, but I had to go Telegram. So the story, I wish you say the story is like there are some nudes that Mulama sent to the parents. And then like real nudes. So it kind of begs the question, and I was asking wife, is it possible that me nitume nudes zako to your dad? No, it's impossible unless I'm trying to say it's nudes zako zenye ulitumia someone else.
Probably, yes.
And then nikakukatch, then nika-forward. That is the only way where I would do some...
something vile like that. But even still, man, what the hell, man? And it is just the respect that is an elderly dude, baba msichana, like, surrelease hata kwa mtandao tu basi. I don't know what I think he was trying to show that he is like a no boundaries individual and that he's such a badass and that but in that game there is no winning. There is no winning. Just like the Israeli Iran-Palestine nonsense, you can't win in that war. Everyone and in fact when they are children, a lot of restraint has to be exercised. You know, a lot of restraint has to be exercised, which I can see happening here. And that kid is gonna grow up with a lot of grow into a lot of stigma, because truly the internet does not forget.
And people will know like your mom and your dad will do this.
So while I understand the fame monster has to be fed, man, but I just don't agree with the way that couple is handling their affairs.
But the story is they broke up for some reason.
Yeah, man. People break up. You're not the first people to break up. You will not be the last.
Right,
Just handle your affairs very well. Go to court if you have to go to court to split whatever little things you guys amassed. Just don't go doing that shit. It does not help our fight against bad governance and police brutality in any sense or in any way. You know,
and maybe they're trying to sell maybe their new show. Maybe kuna show coming. Because kuna hiyo desperate kick hiyo.
Ni nonsense, man. Ni nonsense. It's total nonsense. And
umejam. Moving on.
So we shouldn't give it any more airtime other than the fact that that's total and absolute nonsense.
If you ever hear what Mazee.
If we ever get a chance to have a conversation with him here, Mimi being me, I'll call him out on that shit. I tell him, bwana Mulamoyo ni upuzi bwana. Don't be moving like that. Your point blunt, I'll tell him.
And that it's a play. Inaka kama play.
Well, kama ni play, maybe that wasn't the father you're sending to. You're a man of it can end up being funny if it's just a skit. They're just toying with people's emotions.
Kuna nini ya meno?
Like Sally, I think she has like a dental issue. She had a dentition issue. So I think under during their, I almost said under his regime.
But that fits pain.
I know, right? So like during their time together, he helped her fix her tooth. So he was like, alimpiga picha, then akatuma kwa mtandao, sema urudishe meno yangu.
What?
I know. It's just like,
hey, man, broke boy mentality ama nini? I don't know.
He's actually, I probably think he's going cuckoo, man. Like in your right mind, some things shouldn't be said. Like there's pettiness And then there is now mulamua pettiness. That's a whole other definition of pettiness, which is just wow.
And no more airtime.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So before we go to the main conversation of the day,
yes,
I just wanted us to run through the conversation, digest a little bit
of our past conversations.
Our past conversations, yes.
All right.
I'll skim through mine quickly. We had our conversation with the counseling psychologist Tunu. Yeah. Tunu Speaks Wellness. That was a conversation that I really enjoyed. It was a good conversation. It was chill, it was calm, and she was trying to get into my many open tabs in my mind thing. It was just really nice. And it was a good conversation. I loved it. And I do hope that we, as our platform grows and gets more viewers, that we get to bring her with a bigger audience, so that this message of mental health can probably like reach more people. Because I just feel like it did not get to as many people as it should have. Yes. Then conversation with Wakajuanes, which was the next conversation. Homeboy man amekapitia bana. Growing up, man. God damn, man. That's one hell of a journey that gentleman went through growing up. And while I feel like that episode was also not viewed as much as it should have, I'm just like excited that Wakajuanes still has a lot going on with his career, with his life. And the more he accomplishes things, the more people will wanna know more about him, and going back to that really pivotal conversation about him. Because when he even comes on this podcast again, a lot of reference will be made
with the previous.
Yes. And I just feel that's that we've just cast in stone, cast his journey on the interwebs, and it can always be used as a reference point. So that was really dope.
Nice.
Conversation with Diogratias. Mi nilikuwa nimepatia 400-500 views. Bro, we are doing 26 times that. 13,000 views. Yo, what's the hell? But then again, I guess it's the political talk.
Politics.
It was the political talk that triggered. I had a lot of, overt, extreme views about the current state of affairs. And I just think it antagonized a lot of people. And especially for the populous Luya bloc that has been harboring this romance of uniting. So for Diogratias to come and say that's a myth, mazilikasirisha Waluya proper.
Exactly.
I think Waluya wamejaa tu hapo wamekasirika tu.
You are right by that.
He really riled up a lot of Luyas who are actually hoping that the Luya community coalesces around the euphoric Tawe movement led by Governor Natembea, and that they can actually go and bargain for a new for position in the new government that kind of like probably takes care of them better than what the current dispensation is. So I'm just happy that Diogratias opened that can of worms.
It was a whole can of worms, but also a whole can of insights.
And a whole can of insights at the same time. Because now I'm here just wondering, I'm really eager to have someone with a counter conversation, with a rebuttal to his sentiments in conversation as one of our guests in the coming future, so that I can see how that message lands to that base again. I see if they'll be excited about hope for Luya unity. Yes. And then lastly, wewe, Mr. Chirande, my dad. For the day, I decided to, like, for those who did not catch that episode, go watch that episode. Sikuwa hivyo bana. Nilipeleka babangu akafanyiwa mathings. Kandwa kichwa, katengenezwa miguu. Jamaa akasema miguu yake ilikuwa chafu bana. Hajakuwa akiosha miguu yake fiti. So I mostly settle in conversations very easily, but I was on edge the entire conversation. Nearly sweat a river during that entire conversation. Woof. You see, this is my dad.
No, but you were engaged the whole time.
I was, but I have a really good poker face. This gentleman was saying some things for the first time. Me and him are buddies, like true buddies. That I saw Wakajuanes comment on YouTube that, hi, bana, how would you talk to your dad in such a casual, friendly way? Like, that's really interesting to see. Yes. because there's a lot of friendship between me and my old man.
Yes.
Truly. But you see, now we are doing it on camera.
Yeah.
In front of a lot of people.
Right, yeah.
Apparently 170,000 people now.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't know this is a father. Some of them who've not watched the full video don't know the full length YouTube video. Don't know that's a father and dad conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. But now that conversation apparently spiraled to went on Twitter, and a lot of people just resonated with that conversation.
Yeah, on Twitter,
on TikTok. On TikTok, and just like.
Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about the video that resonates the most?
Yes, but before I do,
okay.
I was just there wondering, yo, bana, why would you do me like this, bana? Like, me nimekuprep for the conversation. Nimekuprep for this conversation. Alafu unaamua tu kunirushia bombshell after bombshell, like him talking about that my grandfather had other women apart from the one I know.
No, you did not know that prior to this? Okay.
That was the first time I was hearing that.
No, serious? Like, serious?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That my aunt is not my grandfather's kid. That was the first time I was hearing that.
Wow, that's nice, I guess.
No, she threw me off, man. And then what else? There was this one other thing that he's really... that my grandmother at some point ran away from her marriage. I was like, shia, man. I just have a really good poker face. But I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was truly thrown off.
Yeah.
So, and then again, when this conversation ends and it ends the way it ends, again, I was just expecting maybe 200 views.
Yeah.
Kama imeenda sana. Like, we're not really doing such a huge number. So I was just like, at most 200 views.
Yeah.
Then we cut the shots and then post on our time lapse TikTok account.
Yeah.
So in the morning I check and I'm like, we're doing 16,000 views, comments. Guys are like, yo, man. Hey, man, retirement. Don't make this mistake. Now guys are actually arguing in the comment section. And I'm just like, what's happening here? This is about when my dad now was talking about how he messed it up with his retirement benefits and invested in public transport business. And it all went belly up, and how cops contributed and how the makangas and everything it was just a whole fuckery.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Up to date, it's still not real.
Yeah,
how much it connected with so many people. And I was just there thinking, we have just this thing we call trending is a shared connectedness.
I love that statement.
This at video nani me trend, nani ana trend. We just like all sharing an experience. It's a human experience that we are sharing. So my dad trending on TikTok and guys finding that conversation insightful or connecting with it is because almost everyone knows they're gonna age at some point. Old age is nigh, and this is a tragedy, or this is some tragedy if you're not prepared for that is coming, or two, they have seen it happen or they have experienced it. Because you can see most people are saying, hey, mimi nijikute na transport. Oh, my dad. Oh, my mom. Yes, there was all these conversations surrounding old age and investing around old age. And this, my dad's conversation was just the trigger that triggered this shared common experience that everyone was like, yes, this is bad. This is good. We are happy you're having this conversation with this old man. We are happy you brought this muzee. He's full of wisdom. And that was just like really too surreal for me. And,
amazing.
And I'm really happy that I got to share.
What's kind of your takeaway though? Did you think you learned something? What did that connectedness reinforce in you?
I have a really compact worldview about investing and all these. So none of it is really...
So it wasn't new?
None of it is really new for me per se. The most shocking thing was some of the uncoverings I made, the personal takeaways for me, and the fact that my dad could actually last that long on a pod, that was just the most... crazy takeaway. And mostly I'm just really excited that I got to hammer his story like that. He's got some mavilejo na muhanda wanataka kulipa hata kuja kwa pod.
Okay.
Yes. His friends in the village are like, hey, hiyo show ni ya kijana yako. Ni pesa ngapi mtu tunaweza lipa tukuje pia si tuhojiwe hivyo.
Okay. And why do you think that connected with them? It maybe apart from jealousy.
Jealousy is a big...
No, is it a desire to be seen, a
desire for their story to be locked to? Yes. Most people don't get a chance to
autobiographize
their life like that.
So most of them, they don't feel like jisifu.
Yes. And they also many have struggle untold and struggle uncelebrated.
Yeah.
So they kind of really eager to also have that put somewhere, locked somewhere for them.
Did you say struggle and uncelebrated?
Yes.
I like that statement.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a John Flash original.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a total original by the and I then nimesoma pahali just on the fly.
Right.
So yes. So most have that and they would wish for that to happen.
To be
celebrated, just locked somewhere for reference for future generations. They all see what I did for my dad.
Nice.
And they kind of want a piece of that.
Nice. I also liked it, kabisa.
Yeah.
I loved just to start from there.
Yeah.
I loved that episode with your dad. I just felt for me it was way too emotional.
Yeah.
So when I was talking to you, alafu ulikuwa so easy about it, nili find that contrast. Like mbona mimi ndo niko na feelings.
Wewe unakuwa na feelings. It's story
the cost of creativity or whatever.
It's story real estate ulikuwa like, why am I so emotional?
No, but there are a few things in life that I'm actually quite emotional about. You'll call one of them.
Yes.
The other one is probably hizo vitu za marriage nini, and then Christian. Then after that there's nothing really else.
Uko sure?
I don't know. Don't uncover. Don't peel away. But then the reason I said I found I thought it was so special, maybe nikisema hivyo.
Yeah.
And it was just a special moment for me to experience you being with your dad.
Yes.
Because now you tagged me along.
Yes.
And I was there just watching you and your father.
Yes.
And for me, I did feel the intimacy that you created with your dad and just being there, not even too much talking, just staying, chill too, is being done on, relax too.
Yeah.
It's so intimate, because you're not even bombarding him with questions. Relax too.
Yes.
And then the lunch thing was also very intimate, just quiet and small talk. It was so intimate. And then now the conversation was kind of like the cream on the cake.
Yeah.
So me going away, actually in Lishana, a lot of kind of emotions are, I need to do this with my father. I need to create such an atmosphere with my parents.
Yes.
So that I also get some of these stories from him. So that's why nilikuwa na loaded na emotion about it. So when I tell you, itakuwa aje, naambia we weka tu hizo video, post when you post. And I felt like I don't know, you didn't just harbor the same kind of feelings in
I do. I'm super sensitive to that journey. Just like I'm also eager to he has a lot of takeaways and points of views that I usually feel or I am confident that I can share with the world. That's the reason why I told you I can't wait to have a conversation with my dad.
Yeah.
In my talkings, in my stories with him, I've seen him give such solid takeaways on almost every other topic. And it comes with the experience of life and blah, blah, blah. But I just love...
But also he's very sharp.
He's also still very sharp even for someone who is bordering 80, you know. So just that said, and I'm not from sikuna my feelings mingi kama wewe. I'm just, if it's good, it's good. And if it's something I can, kuna vitu niko sensitive to, but very little.
Okay.
Ni vitu kidogo sana. So that mi sikuwa na feel like it yote ni off the charts. Anything that would have been off bounds off limits, it's only something yeye ana feel ni mbaya. But since I gave him the brief and he was okay even talking about his journey, his overcoming his journey of sickness and how he got cured, which very few people ever get to tell such kind of story. If he was okay telling it, then why should I be afraid? That's the perspective I was coming from.
Thanks for saying that. Nimepata perspective that already you really value his worldview, and I see that. You really wanted it to be captured on tape, on camera.
And I was so eager to share it with the world.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I was just like so eager to share my dad with the world because I just thought maybe in the fullness of time, but I just didn't know that the vindication will be instant like that.
It'll go instant. Yeah.
Yes.
Used to the retirement. Yeah. Last I checked, it was about 180.
Yes.
180K.
Yes.
Views on TikTok and
yes,
like,
and even him saying at his due when you retire, people run away from you. That also was a banger too, because guys were like, "Yo, yeah, truly, man, old age has been stigmatized for some reason."
Yeah.
And the conversation you're triggering was of just please, whatever you do, whatever you do. These are conversations you've had with him before, off mic, off pod, off cameras. These are conversations him and I have had about just whatever you do not retire poor.
Yes.
Yes. It was a learning during when he was sick, and I was just like doing a lot of heavy lifting for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I didn't plan my retirement, my retirement very well. Yeah. And I'm just really happy that you're here with me at this point, just doing some things for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and also my family, other family members were there, but sasa mimi ndo nilikuwa hapo kwa ground
like
through almost through and through.
Jam up, contact person.
Yes. And he's just like, it's one of the conversations we were having, and I was telling him, man, don't worry about me. I got this.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
I'm not retiring poor. No way.
I agree. It's very troublesome. You remember my head imeenda kwa sicknesses and how you need a lot of good insurance, good caretaking.
Yes.
And if actually don't plan your life towards that, uta struggle. This morning, nimeona, I think videos zimeanza kurecommend on my TikToks retirement.
Yeah.
Because I've seen other older gentlemen wakido retirement videos.
Yes.
And just kind of sharing those struggles.
Yes.
So I agree, yeah.
All right, that's about that on that.
Okay.
Can we dive into the topic of the day? We can
dive into the topic of the day.
So we had agreed that we should probably, and though time imesonga, but we'll see how quickly we can run by that one.
Okay.
We had agreed to, at least as a follow-up conversation, to just like talk about the richest man in Babylon.
Yes.
And get to like digest it and highlight some of the things that we think our viewers might like. So I've been talking, I need to recover my breath, so I'll throw it at you. I'll throw it at you to actually like I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you were to rank the 7 cures to a lean pass in order of how is it called, priority importance, like what comes before the other, like the chicken and the egg argument, but not that kind, but just like if you were to do this, you should probably get this checked first before you get this checked. If you were to rank the 7 cures to a lean pass, for those who do not know, who are just like stumbling into a pod for the first time, The Richest Man in Babylon is a book.
You have
Why do I keep forgetting that we have the book on set? This is a classic from what? Is it 1936 or 1926? 1926, done by George S. Clason. Clason, right? Yes. And this is a book on, let's just say, financial literacy, management of your finances. And if I was to actually pick 2 books,
just 2, okay?
Just 2 books. I'll probably pick this book for the finances and How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
It's not really like a finance book.
I didn't say on finance. I just said on finance, this one, and on interpersonal relationships, how to...
Which is another book that we should probably
review. So those are like,
point.
If I was to just take 2 books, or read 2 books just for the rest of my life, I would read those 2. This one for the money, and the other one for interpersonal relations.
So I know you asked me if I were to re-rank it. And I'm going to re-rank it.
Yes.
But I had wanted to say how I discovered this book. Just that part.
Sure.
If it's okay. And then I can say I can re-rank. How I discovered this book was a long time ago, I think. And so first I read about it, and I read about it in the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then just kind of ikapita. Then the next time I heard about it kwa a talk some motivational speaker naitwa Jim Rohn He's really huge on YouTube, and he was like he's a really big speaker in the US, very old, currently retired.
Yes.
But this is what piqued my interest. He said in one of his talks that if there's one book I would give to teenagers and young people and it would make you an instant billionaire within a decade, it's The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I should probably, now that Nimeske...
That's a serious soundbite, man.
It's a serious soundbite. It would make me rich within a decade. And so I read the book, just juju.
Oh, I was gonna tell you read it then. Has a decade flown by?
It has flown by, and I know why.
Where are your billions, nigga? Why are you hiding your billions from us?
And this is one of the things I had wanted to say.
No, I'm not being selfish with your billions.
Bro,
when come and feature a billion for Harley. Sorry, I'm just trying to throw you away. Throw you off. Sorry.
Because now I have to defend the billions that are non-existent.
Yeah,
and the reason they are non-existent is actually in chapter 1, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
And so back to my story and then to the and then to rank them.
Yes.
And so I kind of skimmed through it.
Yes.
And then, but I never did actually really understand your concept. You pay yourself first in a
I can't help it. I'm only scared in 2x.
No. I read it. Bro, I was young. Nilikuwa first year when I first read this book.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I actually did go
Amazing.
through it. I did.
I'm always really impressed at how much content you have in you.
Yeah.
Yes. But go on.
Yeah, so it was at that time that I read it, and then it kind of just was somewhere in the back of my head, and I did not know ever how to apply it. And I know why. Because I had not started actively trying to earn anything.
Yes.
So it was just a bunch of knowledge and just a bunch of information that I have in my systems, and I may check that I read that book and stuff. But in chapter 1, in The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a book that I highly recommend to anyone, to everyone. Wife amekata kusoma, ameniambia kama nimesoma niko sawa, but I keep preaching to her somehow through his sermons.
Yes.
When I think it's Bansir, the two gentlemen when you're introduced in the story, Bansir and the right. He says something that today I've discovered something, that the reason we never built wealth is because we never sought it.
Yes.
Well, we were eager to seek how to become good at our skills, and the gods felt it wise that we continue in this kind of thing. And so that's the first lesson, that you actually have to want to get rich.
Yes.
Actively know that you need to get wealthy, and then work on being wealthy.
Yes.
So it's also a kind of lesson I'm learning, and you have to embed into your lives and your work. And the statement they say is that people just are okay. For me, I was really eager to be a photographer and a video person. Even in those days, Nico, first year, all I was thinking about. And I put all my effort into doing that, into getting my camera. I never put effort into this concept here, paying myself first, keeping a portion of my income, doing this. Now I'm answering why I don't have billions. Keeping a portion of my income and kind of using that to generate a surplus for me. I never did that. I was so eager in just working. And that's where 90% of most people are. They're just working, whether they're teachers, whether they're doctors, whether they're nurses. A lot of them are not actually actively thinking about these concepts.
Yes.
Now, to answer your question, what I think is the most important step were the 7 cures of a lean pass, which, if I remember well, but I may just review, 1, start the path to fattening.
Yes, that's the first one, yes.
Yes. And then number 2 is budget the expenses.
Control the expenditures.
Yes. Which is the budgeting one.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. Yes. More or less budgeting, yes.
Or you can tell me, what are they?
No, so start thy path to fattening. Control the expenditures. Make thy gold multiply.
Yes.
Guard thy treasures from loss. Ensure a future income. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment, and increase the ability to earn. Yes.
So may I think 1 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah, but 1 and 7, and I'll explain why I think.
So 1 and 7.
So one is the
So which one is the Kickstarter? Like if it was numero uno, which one is it?
It has to be one. The reason it has to be one,
yes,
is because you just have to kind of start putting away this.
So one is start thy path to fattening.
Yes,
according to you.
According to me.
All right.
So what they mean in the book, or how I understand it, start thy path to fattening is for every 10 coins that come into your purse, take one. 9 and leave 1.
Yes.
And so conceptually, if you make 100 bob, use 90, leave 10. 1,000, let's just keep doing that math as we go on.
Yes.
I feel like this is the most important habit to develop.
Yes.
And you can just know it by the way intellectually.
So according to you, one is just one.
One is it bro. Do you know how many times it is a personal flaw? I'm a father, I have a confession to make. Do you know how many times nime struggle to keep one, to save? Like I have seasons in my life where like I've saved and then I've not saved and then I've gone back to saving. So I believe that if I had the conviction that I have now, that always,
and not saving just for a goal or saving for anything, just saving for saving's sake.
Saving for saving's sake.
Yes.
And this could be a mouthful, but I actually did understand why it's important. Maybe through using Watekama Warren Buffett to kind of try to understand your concept.
Yes.
Because understand that I don't have my millions ever since I read the book.
Yeah.
So one of the questions in reviewing this book was reviewing my habits and reviewing my mindset. Why have I been unable to keep his wealth? Number one, I think...
So you were paying everyone apart from paying you?
I was paying everyone apart from paying me.
Yes.
And I did not see that as a problem.
Yes. Ulikuwa unasikia tu unajisort.
Unajisort.
Nimejibaia nguo fiti kama kaka yangu nimewahi haka so it's something for me but you're forgetting you actually gave someone money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what gave me the conviction was, so finally after hearing about Warren Buffett, this concept here, he's just keeping wealth.
Yes.
Alafu is, okay, what do you mean he's keeping wealth that he'll never use? By the way, if you don't have the training, you can't wrap around your head. You use that money. Why are you keeping wealth that you'll never use?
Yes, for sure, yes.
What's the concept? And I learned that actually a lot of these people wamekuwa trained with their parents that in your life, you have to have this thing, kind of like a scoreboard.
Yes.
Of the work that you did, the wealth, you kept a bit of it. And then so now Warren Buffett takes whatever he kept and then throws it into this compounding machine.
Yes.
So whatever he kept is compounding.
Yes.
Right? So conceptually, he's going to die and he will leave this compounding machine to keep going.
Yes.
But that was his scorecard.
Yes.
So when I finally wrapped my head around your concept, nikajiambia, what for me saving, and then there's another chapter in this book where I think in the chapter maybe 3 or 4 in the gold land of Babylon, the guy who went for advice.
Yes. Something. He went, the gold land, I remember his name is called Maton.
Yes.
But the guy who went to him.
The spear maker.
The spear maker,
Rodan.
Yes.
So in the story of Rodan, Namathon, the
that was a really interesting topic. Really
amazing, man.
Yes,
I know you have a lot of things to say in your chapter.
Yes.
But there's this
How do you know? Because of all I've only highlighted actually 2 places to talk about.
We've spoken before.
Okay.
About so I know some.
Oh, you know my leanings, eh?
I know your leanings.
Off the book. But I will infer both anyways.
Yeah. Now, back to Mathon and Rodan.
Yes.
Mathon asked Rodan, ever since you started laboring as a spear maker, how much money have you kept?
Yes.
How much in like a year's wage? And then he says,
like 1 gold coin.
Yeah, like 1 gold coin.
Yes.
So for 3 years, he's only been able to save 1 gold coin.
Yes.
So if we just pause there, it infers this concept that you are supposed to keep something that shows will unafanya job.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So I mean, so going back to me kind of figuring out why it's important.
Yes.
You're supposed to have something that shows unafanya job. So he says he only saved 1 gold coin.
Yes.
So he says if you give away, then that means you've given a whole 3 years worth of wages.
Yes.
That's how important this gold coin is.
Yes.
And man, even take a tangent, forget where I was. But I think I was answering the question here, why it's important. Number one is important.
Yes.
Paying yourself first. And just understanding this is so important, man. You have to pay yourself first. You have to, in your life, you have to show off something that you did with your money. Because what will happen, bro? You will have a house and an old TV and old clothes and old carpet and old electronics.
Things that you bought, yes.
Things that you bought. But they're not doing anything for you. Yeah, so I think number one. Now number 7, because...
So number 7 being like number 2?
You kind of mejaribu kuni prompt, but I think number 7. Yeah. Being some my number 2.
Yes.
Is increasing your ability to earn, which I think you should learn more ways of earning. And in fact, I women challenge you for so many ways and so many times with that concept that you are supposed to just rack your head. How can I earn more? How can I earn more? What do I need to learn? How can I increase my value? Na vitu kama hizo. And if I earn more, I've learned. I really don't have to worry so much about budgeting so tightly.
Yes.
No. And because previously time nilianza kudu ebook, nili get immediate into a budget.
Yes.
Na ile ni constrain, man. Paka jembia na how you'll save padi wapi. You save everything. Now you just it was so horrible.
Yes.
But now I'm really trying to unlock this other concept here. How can I really make a solid this foundation here? I have to keep aside a piece of all I earn. But I have to learn to earn more. So
to also ask myself that similar question, because the reason why I asked you so that I can also give my thinking, which I actually thought I anticipated that you might say what you just said. And the reason why I say this is because I have like a different perspective.
Yes.
I'm not just being a contrarian for being a contrarian's sake. I actually think that point number 2, the control the expenditures should be number 1. Yeah,
we also talked about that privately. Yeah.
Yes. So my thinking is, you can start the pass to fattening. It's all nice and everything, but you're not fattening that pass if you are not in check of your expenditures.
Right. Yeah.
You remember how, I think in a previous conversation we talked about how Okiom Tata once told Salasia that your lifestyle is your biggest weapon against
such a payslip. Yeah,
such a payslip.
I'm a lifestyle inflation.
Lifestyle inflation. Yeah. So how you live your life, how you control your expenditures, how you keep them in check is one of the most primary things in terms of how you actually manage to put away at the end of the day. You get it?
I get it.
Yeah, like you have to separate. You have to separate what many easily confuse between desires and needs. Back then we were being taught about basic needs and wants. So many easily confuse
the desires.
And desires are a mountain lord.
Right. Yeah.
They are unending, and you can actually not fulfill all your desires. But your needs, you can actually take care of your needs, like the ability to just sleep somewhere, the ability to put on some decent clothes. They don't have to be Gucci or anything fancy. You just have to cover your nakedness. And 3, you just gotta get fed.
Right.
Those you can easily fulfill with whatever income you're making, and you can stash away the rest.
I like that, kabisa.
And once you do that, now you can actually now come to point number 1, which is start thy pass to fattening. Now you can actually fatten your pass.
You're right.
And as you do that, just my thinking, I was like, so now you've started fattening your pass. So now you can now start to multiply your gold.
Yes. Also for you, number 2 is okay. Number 2 is still start your let me get.
So control the expenditures should be my number 1, and then start the pass to fattening now becomes number 2, and then number 3 still remains number 3 because now you have to start multiplying that whatever reserve of income that is coming in courtesy of your lifestyle check.
Yes. I agree.
Yes. Now the moment you start hapo kwa expenditures, I'm really gonna double down on that part, because I worry that a lot of people are stuck at that part of control the expenditures. The inability to actually just be humble.
Yeah.
You earn 20,000.
Yeah.
Why do you live on a 12,000 shillings house?
Right.
Are you retarded, bro?
Yeah.
Tafuta nyumba huko Muslim, bro.
Yeah.
Tafuta hata one room.
Yeah.
Delay. Don't drink alcohol. Believe it or not, alcohol is a luxury.
Yes.
I come from a secular background, and we probably glorify alcohol as a one of the ways to deal with the existential angst. Like the dread to die, blah blah blah. But man, screw that shit. Achana na, it's a luxury. Achana na, you're just gonna piss it in the morning or every other 10 minutes. Achana na pombe. Achana na wamama bwana.
Yeah.
It's just one way of, if you're a man, kama wewe ni dem and you're on this journey of accumulation of wealth, achana na wababa, watakumalizia tu pesa, watakudistract na mafinyo, watakupatia mimba, utazaa watoto tena itabidi ume take care of. Just like focus. Achana na hizi vitu. Do not delay starting a family for as long as you're still at point number 1, according to me, which is control the expenditures.
Right, yeah.
If you have that in check, everything else will just like
I like that kabisa.
It is like one of the most pivotal cures kwa hizi zote. It unlocks everything else. Control the expenditures.
I like that. I don't know if now I'm inferring to maybe like a private conversation we've had.
Yes.
But I've gotten a lot of value in understanding even why you think that is important just privately. And I was reflecting on my own life.
Yes.
And I realized it's true. Ni ngumu ku control your expenditures. A lot of us just allow inakuwa shades of grey.
Yes, things to fly on your budget.
Yeah.
The person I live with, I was like, bruh, but I gotta let go of some things. I'm like, I am I'm in check with every expenditure.
Right,
I know, I want to know, especially if it's of a recurrent nature. Boss.
Why do you think people don't do that? If now we are, so maybe I'm now the person. Why wouldn't I just stick to, try and figure out and then live within it? Mbona niko whimsical about expenditure?
It easily, I think, my quick guess would be that most people are not eager to be exposed for the frauds that they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It easily exposes you for your inability to keep promises to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. So if you said I'm going to live within a budget and then you actually check yourself.
Yes.
You'll find out you're a liar.
So you're a liar, and you're not only lying to other people, you're lying to yourself because you're borrowing money to sustain shit that does not mean shit.
Right.
So most people will easily conflate. Most people run away around that topic because they do not want to confront the reality of the fact that they are actually...
You wouldn't say maybe it's laborious, it's boring.
Boring, and it will actually prevent you from being auctioned.
Right, boring, bro. I know, like keeping my ledger of like what I spent. It gets boring very fast.
You don't have to keep a ledger. Yes, you should probably keep a ledger, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you're at this level of life, what ledger are you keeping? 20,000? How much do you need to make? What do you need to ledger in a 20,000 shillings budget for the entire month?
Because I remember I had a budgeting app, I think back in uni, and I've tried to use budgeting apps.
I hear you. But at this point of life, I don't think there's anything to budget really. You have to know all these things. If you tutatu tu nahitaji to take care of my landlord, my meals, my 2 meals, and if I have clothes, I'll tukutane na mtu wa nguo tena next year bwana.
Right, yeah.
I don't have to buy clothes again for the coming 2-3 years. Hizi nye niko nazo paka venye zinaanza kusema ziwezi bwana, ndio uende ununue tena zingine.
Right.
So mbona wewe unaonekana na nguo ya Drake ama sijui nini, the latest fashion?
Kuna things in life. Kuna just eating
delay. You will eat.
Yeah.
But you have to actually be willing. Din Gracio, someone I ran into recently. I didn't know I needed to know him, but apparently I need to know him. He just said that most are willing, everyone wants to succeed, but very few are willing to pay the success tax.
Right, yeah.
The ability to just remain calm and be patient for 10, 15, 20 years so that you can actually have the beautiful things that you want from life.
Right, yeah.
He wanted a private jet. But really, can I afford a private jet right now? No. But can I afford it in the next coming 20 years if I'm faithful to this journey and this career of mine? Yes. So most are not willing to. So that's,
I like that.
That's where everything... And it all starts with that point, number one in my...
I feel so called out, man. I feel so called out. I feel Kwanza that point, you're lying to yourself and you don't want to find out.
Not just you, a lot of people. Even I'm catching strays too. Like sometimes I'll be like, yo, though I'm a nut, I'm a super Nazi when it comes to budget, man, and budgeting. But sometimes I also like break the pass a little bit, especially if I'm on a passion project.
Yes.
You remember when you were starting this at some point, I told you, man, I've thrown away the budget. I just want us to start.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. And in a break pass, like right now, let us just I'll make sure things come together. However I do it, me bora tumeanza to, you know, if I'm on a passion project, I kind of also ignore budgeting a little bit, but just a little bit. I don't stray so far away from.
Do you also think it's a lack of training of sorts?
With the training, I feel it is more of it's easier to say it's because I don't have these shifting blame. It's a fancy way of just not being accountable.
Yes. Accountability.
Yes.
You can just say, I don't have the training.
I don't have financial literacy, but most of this financial literacy people claim, the fancy Ivy League things people talk about, you are budgeting up, these things are hard-coded in you.
Right, yeah.
Yes, everyone has it. You know very well you have 10 Gs to live on for the rest of your year.
Yeah.
So why are you spending 20,000? How are you financing the deficit?
Right.
You're borrowing. From who? They will want their money back.
Yes. I like that. Whenever you lifestyle inflate and you know you're supposed to be living within, let's say that 10.
Yes.
And you're now living a 20,000 bob lifestyle. Yes. It's like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming from somewhere. I like
coming
that
from somewhere. So I think one of the last point, if you was to rank, point number 7 would be guard thy treasures from loss. You know, you have to make a treasure for you to guard it. You know,
no, but maybe believe that one is so important. I came to learn about it.
Yes.
In my quest to save more money. I learned that. So for me, this guard your treasure from loss, I see it in so many ways. I see it also in your own personal flaws, kind of your own needs, desires, wanting to be wanted, wanting to be seen.
Yes.
Then I also see it from sides of external maconmen, kuosha,
quick rich schemes. Yes, which is mostly what he was inferring or referring to.
No, but it could also just be from yourself.
Yes.
And so for me, I think if you don't figure out what triggers you to spend money,
yes,
you'll lose it.
Money.
Yeah, utenda uchukue penye. And I know this because I've done it, you know. For me, it's such a...
Preach, brother, preach.
It's such a therapy thing.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I know where I messed up, Papa.
Yeah.
And why, type thing.
There is this cure make thy gold multiply. In my notes, I say this feels like a podcast episode of its own.
Yeah.
I have so much to say on this, so I will just let it be for now.
Yeah. No, just say it. I just kidogo maybe you just can unaweza highlight.
Yeah.
Because I always love kuwa na context whenever I talk to you, even later on I'm outside this.
Yes. So I mean, there are so many ways to make thy gold multiply, or the money that you've saved multiply.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about these conversations whereby you were saying you are in a high income job and you put away some money and and most of the time, everyone right now, especially the current fad that is right now, is put money in a money market fund. And even in our private conversations, I was telling you, no, this is sasa imekuwa it's in a fallacy sasa. Now, if everyone is, even investing world, if everyone is working in a certain direction, even on the comments in my dad's viral video, you saw everyone, some guys were saying money market funds are tanking right now.
Right,
the return on investment is becoming the interest rates are actually shrinking. You know, it's because mumezifanya zimekuwa too cool mpaka sasa kila nyani, every John, Mary, Nancy wants to put their money in money market funds.
Right.
And those money market funds sasa zimekuwa was saturated of sorts. They have so much money mpaka sasa wanashangaa waweke wapi tena.
They cannot comfortably chase hizo high return.
Yes, high return investments and opportunities. Yes. So in ability to multiply your money, your coins, I just feel, and as I was telling you, that I wish people invested in their personal brands.
Okay.
And I think I shared with you a Gary Vee clip where he was actually echoing those similar sentiments, and he was saying, a personal brand is the one thing that is inflation proof.
Yeah.
And that is redundancy proof, and is almost all the atrocities that can ever be thrown against you proof. I
love it so much,
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Yes. So invest in your personal brand. If you're an accountant working for an accountancy firm, make sure especially with online platforms, make sure everyone on your social platforms knows you're an accountant.
Yeah.
You'll get referrals for personal gigs during your free time. You'll get consultancy jobs.
Yep.
You'll get... if you're fired, if you're made redundant in this organization, you can always go get a job in another organization.
Right,
easily from your social circle, social network, you know. So this is just one of those points that I don't let me go into it, man.
Don't get into it. Thank you for saying. So what you're saying is making a gold multiply. Kuna so many ways to make a gold multiply that we'll talk about in another podcast.
Yes.
But one of them could be work on your personal brand.
Work on your personal brand.
So,
there's the enterprise thing, but come on, man. You know, that's my favorite. But
there's so many others.
There's so many ways to make your gold multiply. And then there is the ensure a future income and increase the ability to earn. I think both. There are two different cures, but they're more or less, to me, they come from almost a similar school of thought.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
But ensure future income, it's just more of like making sure whatever you do, according to my understanding, right? It comes from the school of thought that right now, these are your active days. There's going to come. There's going to be a time.
Don't have the same energy.
Same energy. Yes. And the reason why I share the imagination that it could be the same thing with the increase the ability to earn. It's more of like this other one is a point on. It speaks towards capacity building.
Right. Yes.
You know, increasing your knowledge, increasing your systems,
your network,
increasing your network.
Just go through
there's a whole list of things that could help you earn more. So my thinking is, if you've earned more and you've stashed more and you've invested more, future income is taken care of.
Kind of thing, you're right.
Yes. So I love it. I love them separately, but I also love them jointly as a point to like one kind of takes care of the other.
Maybe I can comment on that. What I've always thought about your ensure a future income.
Yes.
Is something that you maybe have not actively started. Maybe I have kidogo to educational policies, but I've always wanted kukuwa na ability according to how I understood.
Both your kids have education policies?
No, only one for now. And I should probably probably follow the instructions and get both of them.
Yes.
But I always thought that I need to have some type of insurance.
Yes.
And I've always kind of wanted... I don't know, it's just a delay thing. I must see priority or whatever. Yes. But what I always understood from it is that manze msako life insurance, his life is insured. Even if he dies, he has like... Because now I used to read story that so and so was killed because Joel alikuwa na insurance kubwa vitu kama hizo.
Yes.
And it's like even your life after you go, according to maybe how I say, even after you die, your children are kind of taken care of. Even after you go, your life on earth had some type of value that you insured with some people.
Yes.
And these people that you leave get benefit on this value that you left.
When you vanish into nothingness.
Yeah, when you vanish into nothingness, your life wasn't all for just nothing.
Let me speak like a Babylonian.
Yeah, that's how I always understood it. And it's something by there I would really like to... I get kind of freaked out lately about that because na feel sijafanya a lot, especially towards that. In Gary Vee terms, you're still very young. You're like 19 right cool now, man. I think about retirement, I think we should all kind of worry if God gives us life. You triggered that angst in me.
Yes.
Hata sikitambo within a year now.
Yes.
Of actually thinking how
actively about the end. Yes.
And so I'm just like, man, I close my eyes and I'm 60.
Yeah.
How am I? How are my kids? Am I close my eyes and I'm dead at a good old age?
Yes. How does that end look like?
Yeah, how does that end?
Many don't do that, man, and I can't shout enough that people should do that shit. Visualize the end. There is a point we really dwelled on in our last conversation of renting versus building.
Yes.
Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. And for those who saw the thumbnail probably thought Joel is against building a home of your own. No, I am not, man.
Yes.
Of course, build.
Yeah.
What I was just on this point, what I'm against is going against all the cures in the quest of building your own home.
Yeah.
Don't break all the other rules of cures to a lean pass in pursuit of getting a home. No, don't do that. That is all I'm probably going to say about that.
Yes. In relationship.
Yes. Because these cures work in some sort of harmony.
Yeah.
Together, apart, but sometimes in some sort of like synchrony.
What? Now I see it. So if we go back to our discussion,
yes,
people just ignore all these cures and they go to
number 6.
You are so right.
Yes. And they fuck themselves up.
You're so right. To pair a different way to
digest them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and this was actually my takeaway on the first read. This is how I perceived the book on my first read. Now on my second read, which I just finished recently because I had to revisit the book for a conversation. What sprang to me.
Please tell me before, just how did you find out, and then you tell me your insight in the second.
How did I find out about the book?
Yes.
I don't think I remember how I found out the book. I have a bunch of, I think as you go through, as you traverse the interwebs, there are those books that just are kept, they're mentioned so repeatedly. So inakuwa tu like, hey bro, kwani hujasoma how to nini? Haujasoma hii book, unakaa fala tena unaona. So it kept being mentioned so many times in my circles. I felt I had to read it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So now on my second reading, the feel kind of parliament banner. First reading, second reading. On my second rodeo with this book, you wouldn't. The one thing that actually sprang to me, and it's something I wish it's like the one thing I actually want to highlight in this conversation, is the succession now.
Okay.
Yes. When now it is told as some other merchant talking about Nomasir. Nomasir, the rich man's son.
Yes.
But essentially, this chapter, what they were teaching us about succession.
Right.
How to pass along your wealth.
Yes.
And here you'd think that accumulation of wealth is the most difficult endeavor that you could ever do. No, it's actually not.
I see where you're going with this.
Yes, you see, it is not. Making sure that you hand over that wealth to the next generation is actually the most difficult thing that you can ever do. It's actually a very intricate social science of sorts, you know. So and this chapter really communicated to me in ways in very different light when I was reading the book again. Like it's like you know how you like listen to music.
Yes.
You're like, hey, that's a good jam. But now when your heart is broken, and now you listen to something like you know, like now you're singing to the song with emotions, you know, like you're tearing up.
Soledad,
you know, like
the millennial
the millennial is popping, because you're gonna So like now this was like my moment. Like when I read this book the first time, I probably was not a father, or even if I wasn't actively thinking about how to pass my wealth or the wealth I accumulate down to the second generation. But right now, when I was reading this book again, my mind was just stuck on this. Like it was so pivotal to my second reading, you know. And I was just here thinking, how can this current generation of ours be very intentional about just like making sure that they pass their wealth to the next generation?
Yes.
It was one of those things that
And how did he do it, maybe?
In this book, it's so lovely how he did it, and it will come off as gangster in our current generation. So he gives his son a bag of gold and another bag of wisdom. Like let's just call it like a book on financial literacy in our current contemporary times. And he tells him, go away for like 10 years and come back and show me how you've used your gold. And if you prove to me that you know how to manage gold, then I can give you the keys to the castle.
Right.
kijana anaenda bwana anakutana na mahani chop pewa akachop pesa bwana akainvest kwa some quick rich quick schemes. Si alichapiwa,
right?
But suddenly akafungua bag after pesa zote zimeisha ndani, akapata the book ama the tablets that teach you how to actually get gold and manage gold. And they changed his thinking, and now he put himself to work and actually regained all that money and even got a surplus. And it's not to be taken in literal means. You could, if you can. It literally, man, all this Babylonian knowledge is actually very functional to that. You could totally do that if you can give your kid 3 million and tell him, hey, bugger off, come back with like 10 million. If you can afford to do it, then do it. If you have the stomach for it. But the contemporary ways of just like raising your kids currently and training them on the importance of money, managing money, teaching them about how to create wealth, manage wealth. It is very, very important. It is very important. And this can be inculcated in in a couple of ways. I don't know if there are many, but there are a couple of ways. And one of the things, in our private conversation, I was telling you that one of the tool I'm actually using is sports.
Right.
That creates a bit of like
competition,
drive, greed. Because sports is one of those places you cannot kumbaya. It's either you got it or you don't got it. You're a champion or you're in a champion. And for you to be a champion, you have to actually fucking work hard. Hakuna katikati. There's no beast mode. You have to be in beast mode for you to actually achieve results. And I'm just happy about how sports easily teaches. There's I don't know if it was to you I was talking to when I was saying that some of these fundamental principles of life are actually apply or cut across some of these wisdoms of life, cut across all the disciplines of life. So the same principles you need to excel in sports are the same principles you need to excel in business or in wealth creation. The discipline, the sacrifice, the delayed gratification, the waking up, the follow through, all those actually apply in your personal life. Or in business or in wealth creation. So if you already have the wealth, the only other thing you can rely on is probably like throw them into sports, which will teach them grit, and they can easily pick the lessons that you're unintentionally teaching them. Because you have to realize you grew in deprivation or in provision, your kid does not understand lacking and accumulating. They already were born in abundance. Yes. So how do they learn value? How do you teach them value?
So they don't have the same hunger kama wewe. They don't have the same drive.
Kama wewe.
They don't have the same value for the things that you value.
The only way I actually think one of the ways is actually sports, and then like just making sure that you give them a serious education on financial literacy and management, and also chief and most important of them all, just make sure you take them on a ride along.
Okay, I didn't expect that one, by the way. I think they anticipate hizo vitu mbili, but that one
you have to take them on a ride along. You have to show them this is what daddy does. This is how we make our money as a family. And this is how you'd have to make money in my absentia. In case I'm not here. And chief among this is this point number 3 I'm saying, you cannot start it at 40 or at 50. You have to lazima wakatie mapema. They have to romanticize being you from the very beginning. And then you have to teach them being you in one of the ways. I think that's one of the other only ways you can actually pass the baton.
I love it. That story about fatherhood is a whole thing. And it's a very technical social science. It has there's some things that map to each other, some don't, some align, some don't, and
for you to be one who succeeds to pass the baton successfully, because
you can argue that it's unsuccessful. You know, I know a thing that even I worry about constantly. Kuna boda boda shaniambia this statement, and me and my wife, we talk about it almost every year. We talk about it.
Yes,
the boda boda guy said, "Tajiri uzaa maskini."
Oh, powerful, man.
It was like, that's how I had to keep quiet for a few seconds, and then we talked about it. And then he was telling, just look around, talk to me, show me any. I think we were talking about something. He saw
some
something.
Of the families around. Huh?
Yes. And so that has always left me with the feeling, the thought that passing that
baton
down is the most difficult thing.
Yes.
Because
even more difficult than accumulating, honestly speaking. People think accumulating is the difficult part, but I am telling you, there is nothing more depressing than watching. Kwanza, in fact, if you're not intentional about the passing the baton thing from the onset, I think the gods, the universe laws punish you by making you see your wealth being wasted while you're alive.
That's a very interesting statement.
Yes. Like most of the people who are not intentional about transference.
But you can also argue the others who are so intentional, but they just keep getting disappointed by their spoiled brats. It's a whole thing. I mean, we can argue that hakuna science.
Yes. I had to run it into my DB first before I respond. So you see, it's you could say that.
Yes.
For sure. But who's spoiled brat?
Yours.
So you raised a spoiled brat.
I can see the point.
You see the point I'm trying to counter you with. So I actually consider fatherhood to be for someone who does not really bear such strong Christian leanings, I consider fatherhood to be one of those very, 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 very spiritual experiences where you get to actually raise you.
Okay.
In ways that maybe you thought you were not raised.
Yeah.
If you had some misgivings about how your dad raised you, it's now your chance to actually course correct and align and raise someone in the ways that you deem fit. Right. And yes, you might actually make mistakes, and now your kid has the chance to also course correct and align and make those changes. So if there is a mistake and there's a brat, that mistake again
is yours. Yeah, so the intentionality then wasn't really there. It's back to you're lying to yourself.
Yes. Back to the origins of this conversation. Penye ilianzia, haukuwa na plant hizo seeds mapema.
Yeah.
And the moment my kid could start talking, our office wasn't looking as good as it's looking right now.
Yeah.
I would make him sit on my chair and he would write things, and I would take pictures of him on that chair and I tell him, when umekuwa boss leo? Umekuwa boss leo. I'm just planting seeds in his head about him running shop at some point.
I like that.
Yes. And that, I think, is one of the most important things about wealth creation. Otherwise, what's the point?
Man, I love it. You know, it's so interesting, this point. I never processed it when you may process.
Yeah.
I've always seen it from the son perspective.
Yeah.
But
you never thought about the parent just being intentional about passing the baton.
And today nimeiona.
Yes.
I always saw it as the son's problems after he was given these things and he wasted them, and then he kind of
journey ya kijana.
But now I'm seeing the dad, and even the pride in the dad being told the story.
Yes, of conquest.
Of conquest.
Yes.
That, Dad, you gave me 5 bags of gold and these tablets, and I bring back 10 bags of gold just to prove that your wisdom is more important than the gold.
Yes.
And now I see it, that he was intentional
about. And even him.
Lesson, wow.
And remember where this comes from. The person who made the rich man, the Akkad, the richest man in Babylon, to be rich, was not actually his dad. He's someone who failed at passing the baton
to his
progeny.
There's a whole thread up that I've never seen.
Yeah. He failed at passing the baton and had to
take Akkad
into his
to manage his estate.
To manage his estate.
Yeah.
Because his kids were how did you call them? Spoiled brats.
Yeah.
So that was in my second set of eyes. I have to admit, that was like,
that is good.
That was the most powerful.
I don't know, Kasi, wana powerful takeaways, Kasi. If they know this is for us, this is value for us, this is growth, this is lesson, this is life lessons, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I actually don't. The other point that I had on, but we already kind of talked about was Mathon, the gold lender.
Yes, I'm curious. I really want to. I'm so curious of your own. Okay, let's just preempt.
Yeah. So
proceed.
Mathon is easily one of also my other favorite characters in this book.
Yeah.
And mostly it centers around his advice.
Yeah.
To Rodan, the spear maker, who ran into a windfall.
Yeah.
You know, malimtengenezea king wa spears, then king akampatia more than 50 pieces of gold, which was way more than what he was expecting in terms of remuneration.
Right.
And zaka ikamchanganya kidogo, man. Alikuwa anasema maybe 2 pieces of gold, na king amebambika amempatia mingi.
Yeah.
And suddenly sasa sees anaanza kumwambia my husband anajua kutoa sijui vitu Turkey sijui sasa unaona like things now
to be like a Turkey merchant exporter of fine Turkey.
You know, now everyone wants to come in and tell you how to use your money more than you,
and you to help them
with whatever issues that they are going through. And Mathon was like, nah son, you can't be doing that shit.
I will just like how we bring down to such a gangster movie.
Like, you can't be doing that shit, man. I mean, what knowledge does he know about bringing fine linen from Turkey? Has he ever done it before? No. And then it brings up down to the point of what, the earlier point that you mentioned in the book, where how long have you been doing this spear making business? He's like 10 years. How many pieces of gold have you saved for the 10 years? 1 piece of gold. So you want to tell me you're going to give someone 50 pieces of gold that you probably, if the king had not given you this money, you'd never make, utampatia tu hivo, just because
you are loyal to your sister.
Loyal to your sister. You lose. If they fail to repay, what will you do? What securities do you have for this loan? None. So it was such an important story, and I was like, in your journey of wealth accumulation, you have to understand that people will start coming at you. And you have to be very judicious in how you
decide who gets
something from you.
I like that.
And if you are to actually help them in a way that you do not take on their burdens. And I actually loved that story of that farmer in Nineveh who was able to listen to animals speaking. It was such a powerful way to like wrap up that or drive the point home.
That's such a powerful story. For me, napata so much value even hearing you say back these things. And I'm seeing it in a fresh light. Especially that thing, I was talking to someone, it's a friend of mine, mwenye aliniambia, he's so mad, alikopesha sijui someone so he wanted to start a business, sijui kufanya nini, then never paid back, and then now he's so bitter, and then my head went here. How we are always so eager to help people.
And from a good place. We mean well.
Afu inatusotesha.
Inakusotesha na kuweka kwa hata our previous guest Debbie got into a lot of problems. Probably read this book, man. She would never find herself in such a spot. And I think it's one of those things I've taken to heart so much. And I actually don't have any of those things going for me.
I think the only reason I don't have is maybe I don't have like a bunch of money people feel they can borrow. But I don't know. It's hard to deny your brother money, bro. Or your sister or your mom or someone you feel very close to. Just help them in a way that you don't take on their problems. This is the key takeaway. I like that. I love that. Be crafty in how you help them. But still help them. But don't like overextend your help. Good. That's good. We are not saying you be selfish. Though on the aside from this conversation, time lapse inafanya niko kwa masimu za kila mtu bana. Sasa watu wanafikiria niko na pesa bana. Wanakukumbuka.
Watu wananikumbuka sana bana. It's becoming almost every other day bana. I'm getting an appeal for this and appeal for that. And I'm just here, man, wondering, man. Yes.
And you're saying before time lapse, this wasn't.
I was really undercover. There are people I would meet and they've never seen me for the past 4 or 5 years that I started the branding business. The other business was I was a highly accessible person.
Yeah.
But now when I started branding, I became super inaccessible.
Yes.
It was more of like B2B business now, not B2C.
Yes.
So now I'm not really open to everyone. I'm just like now sorting out businesses and their branding needs.
Yeah.
And now I wasn't like an everyday person. But now with the time lapse, I'm in people's homes, I'm on people's TVs, I'm on people's gadgets, phones, you know. So it may bridge some sort of divide. People who had not seen me in a while now are seeing me, are remembering me. They're like, oh, this guy has cameras, so he probably is doing well.
Yes.
Bana tumerent his cameras.
Bana, all of these things, we own what? We own the lights.
We own the lights, bana. This is still a little baby. We ain't got no shit, man. Tuna kiru, man. So, nijaribuni after a few.
But it probably goes to the thought that a lot of people think if you are out there.
Yeah, if you're in media.
Yes.
Then ukianza kuwa celeb. Most of the celebrities actually, and me, I'm not faking anything, man. Me, I'm not going to behave like I have any money to actually pander or create a certain narrative. We actually had this conversation when we were bringing up Director Trevor.
Yes.
I'm not going to create any type of narratives. Nimeenda Dubai, nimeenda wapi na Miss Fresh umati na kitu yote. I'm just going to be me. If I'm doing anything, I'm doing it for Joel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people can be happy or sad. Whatever.
Yes. If you're happy about it, sure. If you're not happy about it, then that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best ways to live, being true to yourself.
Amazing. And validating sometimes.
So I probably wrap it there because tumeponga leo. Tumeponga tu sana.
I wanted to finish off with the other one, but let's wrap it up.
No. If you have something to like say, man.
No, it's the chapter. This chapter. The camel trader, I think, of Babylon.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the camel trader of Babylon?
Yes. I don't remember his name, but yes. I know.
The reason why, and I'll just go to the end, is the advice that this lady told the slave.
Yes.
That if you had the heart of a slave, you had the heart of a slave, that's why you're here. If you had the heart of a king,
yes,
you would have been elsewhere.
Yes.
And then there's a statement
I
somewhere.
feel attacked.
Yes. That it says water always finds its level.
Oh, yes.
For me, this was so profound for me, and I've always reflected, even Kijambia, water always finds its level.
Yes.
By the way, I think it's so true. And even one day I had another YouTuber, some financial YouTube, one Nigeria, some pastor. He's like a trainer.
Yeah.
And some guy was saying, oh, maybe if Wizkid or Davido gives me how many million? And then the pastor guy is like, if someone gives you millions, you're not a millionaire. No. You're just someone who was given millions.
Yes.
And he was trying to say that millionaire is a mindset.
Yes.
And so for me, this was that reminder.
Yes.
I
love that.
Yeah,
so much.
That money and millionaire and being rich is a mindset. And if you have a poor person mindset, so in this statement,
the scarcity versus abundance mindset, yes,
you will trickle down to that level.
Yes.
And you have wealth mindset, abundance, you'll rise to that level. And so I've always reminded myself, and I just wanted to finish with that one.
It's a good way to finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember, when I read it, I told myself, do you have the soul of a slave or the soul of a king? Kind of just to remind myself, get to this mindset of a king so that you rise to that level instead of sinking to this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add on that.
Yes.
It's lovely. So anyway, niseme kama that Chinese guy who creates viral videos. Science.
Yes.
Anyway, now you see, the other day when we were here, you were like, do I also get a mug?
No, I get a mug!
So you...
No, for it.
Yeah. You
what happens when I keep coming up as a commentator?
Now, you see, that's the thing. You're dealing with someone who is schooled to Babylonian financial literacy in this. So it was very important that you also get a mug.
Thank you so much.
As one of our regular guests. Hii unaweza tumia hapa, hii unaweza tumia nyumbani, but najua utakunyang'anya, but good luck.
No man.
Ukitaka ingine support ministry.
Yeah, you support to do my time lapse.
Support to do my time lapse. Yes. Yeah. So I thought it's only fair that you get a piece of the time lapse. It will trigger conversations in your house. It will even increase the interest, the love for the time lapse in in the household.
Yes, a good story.
Yes.
My kids would say, my dad used to work for this production.
Yes.
It's a good... Thank you so much.
It anchors.
I love, I just wanted to say, thank you so much. I love how we are making things real.
Yes.
Zenye zilikuwa zina feel so abstract.
Yes.
And this is a piece of realness.
Yes, something you can touch.
Something
touch
you can
wood.
touch. Yeah. Like, bro, this is real. Like, time lapse is real. And
yes.
if you're not an unbeliever so far, get familiar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could wrap it up at that point, man.
Thank you.
So, guys, please subscribe. We need to get our numbers up. We need to run up those numbers. This is a numbers game. And for us, I'll keep saying this, for us to improve the delivery of our production, we probably need even bigger numbers. Numbers will allow us to probably even get sponsorship, and that way we can grow our community and even bring you bigger stories, better stories from far and beyond.
Yes.
So that said, peace.